In this how-to video, we're actually just going to do a basic overview of Adobe Muse. So I have been using Dreamweaver since version 1, and I actually attended a Macromedia conference sometime in the mid to late 90s. It was all for graphic designers, and they were showing off all these cool features for graphic designers. And over the years, I've watched as Dreamweaver has devolved from something for graphic designers into something for developers, which is great for developers, but terrible for graphic designers. So first we're going to take a look at my Photoshop file. So let's open that up. And you can see all of my layers here and all the pieces that are in place. And I'm just going to move some of this stuff around just so you can see, and there's a reason why I'm doing that. So I'm sure anyone watching this video, you're already familiar with Photoshop. This is a no-brainer. You can move stuff around. Cool, awesome, yay. Now, what I would do with each of these pieces would be I would take them and slice them up, create PNGs or GIFs or JPEGs or whatever I needed to. And then I put all of that into this links folder. So I've got all my stuff here. Cool. Now the Muse website is a single file. So you can think of this, and I'm probably going to bring this up again. You can think of this like Adobe InDesign. So let's say you have a 70 or a 100-page document in InDesign. It's a single IND file. All those pages are contained in a single file. The same thing goes for Adobe Muse. So you have one single file that contains your entire site. So let's go ahead and open that up. And like I was mentioning before with InDesign, this is very similar to InDesign. So right now, essentially what we're looking at is the Pages palette from InDesign. But instead of it being a tiny little palette, it's taking up most of the screen. And the masters, instead of being on the top, they're at the bottom. But other than that, it's the same thing. Here's all my pages, and here are my masters. Now, because I only started putting this site together, it's very bare bones, very small, and I only have one master. But you can create multiple master pages for like different sections of the site, which I plan to eventually do as I go on and learn more about this. In order to create a master, you can click that button right there, and it will create an additional master. So then you can style that however you want. If you want to duplicate your current master page and then just slightly edit it, you can right-click there and say Duplicate Page. That'll create a duplicate master. Then you can go into that and move things around and style it however you want, making things a little bit easier that way. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that one because I don't need that. And I'm first going to show you how the navigation is created and how that works. And then I'll come back to this, to the Pages palette. So inside the master page, I put my navigation. And in order to create a navigation in Muse, you go to the widgets library, and there's all these different folders with all this different kind of stuff, all these different kind of things. And I wanted a vertical menu, so I grab that, and I drag and drop it into place, and then I use all these different palettes, which I'll touch on lightly in just a few minutes, to style the rollover states, the mouse down state, the active state, all of that. It's all done here. So more on that in just a second. Now, in order to create the buttons that appear on that main navigation, you create your pages. So you start out by default with a home page, and then if you want another page, in my case I wanted an about page, I hit the plus sign, and it created another page, and then I went in there and I did what I did to create the about content. And then I wanted a blog. Click, made a blog. This is my music page. Click plus again, created a portfolio. Now let me actually demonstrate this by clicking that plus sign, and I'll call this new. And if I go into any one of these pages, you'll see new has been added to the main navigation. That's how easy it is. It's just as simple as that. Now let me go ahead and get rid of that page. I don't need that. And let me show you just a brief overview of some of these palettes. Now, if you've been fiddling with web design and been using Dreamweaver or anything else, you've probably been messing with HTML, CSS, JavaScript, all that kind of stuff. You don't have to deal with any of that here. Like, for example, this header, it's a paragraph style. Again, Adobe InDesign. It's the same thing. Here I've got my intro body. And here I've got my regular body copy. It's all paragraph styles, and there's character styles. I believe there are object styles somewhere. Again, I've only been using this for less than a week. You can see the color palettes. Let's see. Oh, the text palette here. Check this out. Space after, space before, leading, kerning, all of those things that you're familiar with using InDesign. It's all here. It's so simple, so easy to use. Now, let me show you one other thing, because again, this is just an overview. I'm not going to go into details on how all of this stuff works. But if you want a tablet version of your site, you can click that. I have not created a tablet version yet, so that's why there's this plus sign. I have created a phone version. So you go to phone, and you can see I have two masters that I've created for the phone version of my site. If you go into one of these pages, you can see here's the phone version of my About page. It has all the exact same content. I just shrunk it down for this size. And that's it. Now, one other thing I want to show you really quickly. Let me actually go to the master page. When we were looking at the Photoshop file, and I was moving some of the layers around, you used to be able to do something similar like that with Dreamweaver. They were called absolute position divs, AP divs. They got rid of them in the latest version of Dreamweaver, so you can't use them anymore. Well, the way Muse works, you create all your graphics, and then you just drag and drop them into here. And you just move them around on the page and arrange them however you need to. It's that simple. And there's a layers palette, so you can put everything in layers and keep everything organized. The UI of Muse is so consistent with all of the other major players, with Photoshop, Illustrator, and again, especially InDesign. And that is highly important. I feel that is highly important for a graphic designer, someone who doesn't want to mess with code. So if you're like me and you don't want to mess with code and you want to do something fun and cool that's interactive, Adobe Muse is for you.